Everybody to take a seat, please, so that we can actually start a few minutes early. Early is never in my repertoire. And people smile because if you know me, you know that's true. But we have a very, very full agenda today, and I don't want us to have to hurry anybody along unnecessarily to get it all done. So I want to welcome everybody today. We have some new members joining us, and I welcome them too. And we have some guests. So I didn't receive any notice from anybody that they brought guests with them today for introduction. Does anybody have somebody that they brought along today that you want to introduce? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. I want to thank Wilma's greeting team, Marion Wells and Gerda Charlton, for meeting us at the door, and for Wilma for always having our tags ready and available. We need to know each other's names more these days, so the reminders are important. We have, that was cute. We have, we have a few messages this morning. Kathy Stevens wants to say a few things about the luncheon, the Christmas luncheon.
Good morning. The Christmas lunch is at the Guelph Country Club on December the 11th. At 11:30 the bar opens and the meal will be at 12:15. I just wanted to remind you that today Jan Epperson and Chris Bedard are selling tickets to the luncheon. Otherwise, when you see them, you can either pay by cash or by check. The other alternative, which we appreciate, is going online to our website and registering there and paying either by credit card or e-transfer. So I hope most of you can attend that luncheon. We're hoping to have at least 80 people. So we look forward. The West Enders are doing the entertainment, and they're quite excited about coming. So thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. We have one other short request for a commercial break here. Rosalind Slater. Rosalind, if you want to stay there right behind you, David will give you the thing. Rosalind.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Rosalind Slater. And when I gave my talk of welcome, to be welcomed in the summer, I mentioned that I had been with Guelph Theatre for many years, but I had taken a break. Well, you'll be glad to know I'm back there, and I'm directing the Christmas show. So that's what I want to tell you about today. It's Alice in Wonderland. We open on the 4th of December, and it runs till the 14th. Tickets are available online, and this is a family-friendly show for Christmas. So I hope you'll all be able to come out and enjoy the wonder of Wonderland. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosalind. Okay, we are remembering Remembrance Day. No, it was a couple of days ago, but I think all of us grew up where schools closed and the world stopped on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. And I think it always is a feel-good time to remember. Many of us had parents and grandparents that were in wars, and it has touched our lives. Pray to God, not our children's, but ours in a way that I think we need to take time together to show our gratitude. A few weeks ago, I was at the Normandy beaches at Juno Beach, and then at the cemetery and the museum. And I have to tell you that this year, perhaps, I feel even more strongly about remembering. We cannot forget. And so what we're going to do first is Barb Moldenhauer is going to do Flanders Fields. Then we're going to do the last post, a moment of silence, and then the ruse. So that's the next few minutes, and I hope that it brings us all gratefully together and grateful for those that have served us to be here today. So, Barb, do you want to come up?
In Flanders fields. In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Thank you. Thanks, Barb. And thanks in the back there we were worried about some technical difficulties, but I think it all worked. We remember. We have a special guest today. Well, we have a few special guests, but we have a special guest from PROBUS Canada, our regional director. We are in District 6, and our regional director is Donna Potocek. I'm sorry, Donna. She even wrote it out so that I should have been able to do that correctly first time. Donna is a dual citizen of Canada and the U.S., proclaims herself to be a proud Canadian. After high school, she moved to Canada, adapted to a new life as a wife and then mother of 2. Years later, she enrolled in a 2-year business course at Mohawk, and after completing the program, began her career as an office clerk. She spent 7 years at the first company as a receptionist, studied accounting at night, moved to a new company as a senior accountant, and worked for them for 20 years, and finishing as the IT manager and assistant controller before retiring for the first time. Retirement didn't last long. Donna joined a local medical clinic as a part-time medical clerk. Part-time title only lasted a few weeks. She was valued for her management experience and was soon promoted to clinic manager, a role she found especially rewarding. Connecting with people, patients, physicians, and employees became the favorite part of her job. Now retired, she enjoys being an active grandmother, bowling, golfing, traveling, and spending time with her grandchildren. She's a dedicated volunteer with PROBUS for over a dozen years. You don't look like you could have been around for 12 years after retirement. She has held positions in her home club, which is in Brantford, as trips and tours chair, second vice, first vice, president for over 5 years through COVID, and told me today that she's being asked and will step into the vice president role again at her club, in addition to all that she's doing as the district director. Donna, we welcome you, and we're glad that you've finally been able to come. I know you've been planning the trip for a while, so we're anxious to hear from you. Please, you're okay with the stairs? Okay.
Whoa. Just want to make sure everyone's awake. Good morning. I very seldom ever speak, even for 1 minute, without a piece of paper in front of me, and I ran out of ink this morning. So I have my trusty phone up here with what I'm supposed to say. I'll probably forget half of it, but I promise not to speak for longer than a few minutes anyways. I belong to the Grand River Women's PROBUS in Brantford. We recently celebrated our 25th year anniversary, and I know that in 2 years you will celebrate your anniversary also. To think that the first PROBUS club was formed in 1966 in England, it's a long time ago. Canada's first PROBUS was in Cambridge in 1987, and that club still exists. For the most part, PROBUS is as advertised: fun, friendship, fellowship. We get dressed up and we drive to the club, have coffee, chat with our friends, listen to a little business, and then listen to a speaker or an entertainer. But it's a lot more than that, isn't it? There are many hours of dedication and service to keep a club running for 25 years. We're a volunteer organization, and many clubs are finding it difficult to fill roles, especially on the management team. The management teams make most of the decisions and hope that the membership likes their decisions. Right now, there are some clubs that are currently struggling with what is the right thing to do about a situation. I have just found out, I assumed that every club ran a 50-50 draw. You don't. So I have to tell you anyways, or I won't have anything to say. Most clubs run a 50-50 draw and have for years. A way to cause a little excitement with the members and to raise a little bit in funds, because sometimes it's hard to get through that whole year with just membership dues. PROBUS Canada has always, let me rephrase that, PROBUS Canada has very often in the last 10 years said, yeah, it's gambling, but you know, do what you want, you're autonomous. We don't really have anything to say. It wasn't very helpful for clubs who were wondering if they should continue to run this 50-50 club. Now PROBUS Canada is giving very strong recommendations. 50-50 draws are definitely illegal, and clubs can be charged. The chances of it happening are pretty slim, but it is a possibility. And because PROBUS Canada's insurance covers the management team, but will not cover any liabilities if a club is charged with gambling, that would come on the management team, in particular, the president. You're okay. There's no 50-50. You're good.
So no problem then?
That's right. I think you're one of the only clubs that I know in our district that does not run a 50-50 club, so you don't have to worry about that. That's great, really. And I was talking to a young lady sitting back there at the table and explained what you do through the year in your club. And it sounds like you have a lot of smart people on your management team, a lot of people in your membership that know what they're doing, know how to have a good time. So I am happy to be here. I'm happy to meet you all. If there's anything that I can do to help with any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. My name at probuscanada.ca. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Well, that's one less thing we have to worry about anyway. Okay, thanks very much, Donna. And you did very well off your phone, by the way. Next, I'm going to call on Ellen. We have 3 new members that she's going to introduce to us today. So, Ellen, do you want to bring your... I'll just get chairs up here.
Shift over a bit, guys. Yeah. Shift over. Yeah, now you can just stand. Okay, if you're comfortable.
No, I'm fine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ellen Bell, the membership chair. I have these 3 ladies to introduce to you this morning, and the first one is Beverly Norton, although she usually says, call me Bev. So Bev Norton. My name is Beverly Norton. I was married for 53 years when I lost my husband, Glenn. With 2 beautiful children, Shelley and Sean, and 4 grandchildren, and soon to be a great-grandma, life changed, of course. But to cope, because I don't like being alone, I adopted an 8-pound Shih Tzus, and his name is Eddie. He has been my savior and a royal pain in my neck. To love and devote yourself to a little bossy guy that has a house full of toys is just like having a 2-year-old around again. My life is full, Friends and family make up the loneliness at times. I worked in the retail business and had my own cosmetic company as a certified cosmetician for 40 years. That was a dream job. All that makeup at my fingertips, wow. What gal would not love that? From May 24th to September 30th, I leave for my summer home in Grand Bend, my very happy place. Joining the PROBUS Club and to make new friends is why I am here. Beth Norton, everyone. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. So next we have Valerie Allen. This morning we are officially and belatedly welcoming Valerie Allen to PROBUS. I decided to join PROBUS after meeting Anne Bradley and John Holt on a hiking trail in Fergus 3 years ago. Anne asked me to join them, and while we walked, she told me all about PROBUS. Anne is a wonderful spokesperson, and I decided to apply to join after that hike. I have been hiking with Anne ever since, as well as walking with Barb Moldenhauer and the walking group. I was born in Belleville, Ontario, but spent most of my early years in Oakville. I completed my undergraduate Bachelor of Applied Science degree at the University of Guelph, which was also my father's alma mater. Following graduation, I worked for Agriculture Canada for 4 years in Ottawa as a food consultant, where I wrote consumer-focused publications, answered calls from the public, and did research projects. I then moved to Winnipeg, where I completed my master's degree in foods and nutrition at the University of Manitoba. I loved Winnipeg, but I hope to never experience minus 40 degrees ever again. In 1985, I returned to the University of Guelph, where I taught introductory foods for 2 years. I quickly realized that I loved teaching and working with students. I also became the undergraduate academic advisor for the School of Hospitality, Food, and Tourism Management. I held these 2 roles for 30 years until I retired in 2015. I loved my career at U of G, mentoring and helping students, working with wonderful colleagues, and doing all of this on a beautiful campus. Since retiring, my husband Bob and I have traveled to Australia, England, Spain, Mexico, France, Italy, and Gibraltar. We are currently planning a cruise in the Mediterranean, where we hope to explore more countries. Our daughter Amy works in Guelph and lives in Kitchener with her partner Garrick, so we see them often. In addition to hiking and walking, I also do yoga and love to read, especially historical fiction and anything by Louise Penny. Valerie Allen, everyone. Thank you, Val. And now we have Helen Grant. My name is Helen Grant, and I grew up in London, Ontario. Eventually, I made my way to Toronto to study nursing at the Hospital for Sick Children. And after a stint there, I returned to London to study at Western. After that, I headed to sunny San Francisco to work as a nurse until a friend peeled me away for a 5-month hitchhiking adventure around Europe. It didn't take much convincing. Shortly after returning, I married Paul, whom I had been introduced to 4 years before, because our last names are the same. We celebrated by taking off on a 1.5-year honeymoon, driving around the world, living in an 8-foot by 8-foot tent with a Coleman stove for cooking. It was tight quarters, but an unforgettable adventure. Eventually, we landed back in Mount Forest, Paul's hometown. We raised 3 amazing children and a few lovable dogs. I worked for the VON and returned to studies at Waterloo University during this time. Our family expanded with 4 wonderful grandchildren who now live in many different cities, as do their parents. 19 years ago, we retired to Guelph, where I've been enjoying a peaceful, friendly community. Family are spread between Guelph, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Vienna. Sadly, I lost my soulmate 5 years ago, but I continue to find joy in cottage life, traveling, hiking, tennis, biking, the gym, and most importantly, my family and friends. I'm really enjoying life in Guelph, and I'm looking forward to building new connections. Thanks to Martha Elliott for introducing me to PROBUS. Helen Grant, everyone. Thank you very much.
I'll meet you down here.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And welcome to our new members. I know some of you already, I've walked with you, played cards with you, so I'm glad everybody gets to meet you. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to call on Ruth Thompson now to introduce our guest speaker, Chris Arthey.
Good morning. Our guest speaker today is Chris Arthey, speaking to us about firefighting. Chris was an active member of the Brampton Fire and Emergency Services for 10 years as a volunteer, and then for 20 years full-time. He also worked for the regional municipality of Peel for 15 years. He was an active member of the Brampton Fire and Emergency Services Honor Guard. Prior to moving to Guelph in 2009, he was a charter member of the Huttonville Lions Club and held most of the offices of the club, including as president. As well, Chris was involved with Scouts Canada for 30 years, starting as a cub leader and finally working for the Brampton District of Scouting. Chris has been married to Julie for 13 years, and between them they have 5 adult children and 8 grandchildren. Please join me in welcoming Chris Arthey.
Good morning, everyone. Well, Kathy asked me a while ago whether I'd come and speak, and I took a few days to think about it, but here I am. Does anyone know why it took the fire truck so long to get to the strawberry field? Traffic jam. And what did the firefighter say when he saw the church on fire? Holy smoke. They're my 2 jokes. I got a couple more later. Anyways, as you've heard, my name is Chris Arthey. I'm 71 years old, and I live here, as you heard, in Guelph, when I re-met my wife in 2009. We grew up in Huttonville and Norville. Huttonville is a small hamlet within Brampton, and I never considered that as part of Brampton. We always consider Huttonville as to be part of Brampton. We grew up there and went to school there. See where I am here. Huttonville is a small hamlet between Mississauga Road and Winston Churchill on the number 5 side road, or what's called now Hamilton. As you can see this from this picture, I'm the little guy in the center. It's kind of where I got my first start in thinking about uniforms. It wasn't until later in life that I had considered being a firefighter. I was talking to a fellow in the village that was a volunteer, and he asked me, why you're part of this community and you're not a volunteer? I said, well, I never really thought about it before. He says, well, you should go talk to the platoon chief, Malcolm Jarvie. So I did that. And Malcolm had invited me up to the volunteer station, which was just not far away on Mississauga Road. And I did, and I went up there on Sunday morning, because that's when they did their truck checks and they cleaned things and they went through their equipment. And so very shortly after that, I joined the volunteers. It was a great group of guys. I loved being there. And being part of Brampton, we were trained by the city of Brampton. That's me there, the one on the far right standing. So being trained by Brampton, once a month we would go to the fire training tower and we would get training. So my first training session, it was a live fire in the tower, and the tower is 4 stories high. And the evolution was a trap person inside and then to go in and put out the fire. So I was teamed up with another fellow from another volunteer station, and up the ladder we go. Fire hose with us. We're sitting on the balcony. Smoke is billowing out the window, and we can hear over the radio the guys are going in, they're doing the rescue, and of course the rescue is a dummy, right? So things are going along fine, the smoke's just coming out, and the guy that I'm with from this other station, he stands up. He says, to hell with this, I'm out of here, and down the ladder he goes. Well, you can imagine, my first time there, new, scared to death. What the hell do I do? Well, it wasn't long before the training people there had sent up another firefighter, and the call came in, and in the window we went, and down we put out the fire. That was when I knew I loved that job. This was one of my first fires. We've been called into Brampton to assist the full-time firefighters. You can see by the coat and the hat and the boots, this is well before bunker gear. It is what we called our trench coats. And the rubber boots that came up to here, you pulled them up. Sitting in snow, blasting water in through a second-story window as the fire went on. So I'd been there, 4 or 5 years, and then I thought, well, I'd really like to try to be a full-time firefighter, so I started the process. And I don't know how many of you know this, but to become a firefighter, it's not just you put your application in and you wait and you just leave it there and years go by. That's not the case. What you do is departments open their applications once every 2 to 3 years. And the application process is only open about 3 weeks. So you put your application in, you fill out all the forms, you send it in, and they look through it. And then you have to put in a police check, which you pay for yourself, a driver's abstract, which you pay for yourself, and a few other documents, any other documents you might have. And you just go through it until you could hear from them, and they call you up, and then they put you through the process. So the process is, after you've had those checks done, they ask you to come in and they put kind of an aptitude test together, 120 questions of all kinds of things, and they have you about an hour to do it. It also costs you to go in to do this. They have interviews for you that you have to go to, and then a few other processes. And if you get past that, you're invited to go and do a physical fitness test. Now, the physical fitness test back then was done by York University at a cost of $120, which each individual would have to pay for. I did this, and it took me, I applied for Brampton, I applied for Mississauga, and then I applied for Brampton again. It took me 3 times to do that. Failed the first 2 times. The third time I was lucky, and I got onto that list. But the list is good for 3 years. And if the list expires, you start all over again, right? So I had done that 3 times. I was finally lucky enough to get onto the Brampton Fire, and I was hired. May 30th, 1994 was my first day in training. Training is 9 weeks long. Classroom work, outside work, pumping, in that training tower where I was left on that balcony all by myself. But it was a great experience. There was 29 of us in this crew. I'm on the top ladder there, second from the left. So we had aerial work with the ladder. We had evolutions off the side of the building and lots of other interesting things. I think I stole this picture from my wife. It's something she likes to see now and then. I don't know why. After the 9 weeks, you're posted to stations. And usually what happens in the first 3 years here, because your probation is 3 years long, you're posted to certain stations. So high-level rescue is one station, auto extrication would be another station, and hazmat would be another. So you would do a year at each. So you kind of get the feeling of, you know, that particular item. I was posted to Station 2, which is the high level, which is the first one I was at, and then I went to auto rec. And then after my 3rd year, at the end of each year, you had to do another written test. And after the test, you did a physical. The physical was mandatory, and it went on every year. Finally, after the 3rd year, I was posted to Station 208, which is kind of ironic because I came from Station 8, which was Huttonville, which was kind of cool. Station 8, 208, what we called 200 meant it was Brampton. So it was kind of regional. It wasn't a regional fire, but it was city fire. Mississauga was a 100, so all their trucks would be 101, 102. So what Brampton was 200, it'd be 208 was where I was, and Caledon was 300. And that's because they shared communications. And so if you heard them on the radio, you know what city they were in and what truck they would have been on. The shift work, back then, because it's changed now, worked like this. 5 days on, 5 days off, 4 nights. Oh, by the way, the day shifts were 10 hours. The night shifts were 14 hours. Then I'd have another 5 days off. Then you do what we were called a split shift. Excuse me. 2 days on, 3 nights on, and then 4 nights or 4 days off. And then you just start the rotation all over again. It was great because I loved doing it. It gave you lots of time off. Now, most fire departments are 24 hours. So you go in for 24 hours and then you might be off 2 days and do another 24 hours and off 5 days. And it just means that you're doing 7 days a month. instead of what I was doing. Our gear, I've lost part where my notes were here. Sorry, excuse me. Our gear, I have it up here front. Any volunteers would like to come and get dressed? No? What about Jim? I'll let you go. You want to see it? Sure.
Make them do the physical first.
Shoes off, Jim. We didn't plan this, did we?
I didn't know this was going to be part of it. Well, let's get it
In the boot.
That leaves
There you go. Have you got a camera there, Ruth? You're going to want a picture of this. So you got to pull those things up. There you go. You gotta- I'm not sure you're going to get that done up. Don't worry, I couldn't do it up either, so.
How are we doing?
You're doing great. Of course, you know, when we were doing this, we didn't have this help.
Oh, there you go. Looks like
You don't have to do it all up.
glasses on.
Oh, you can leave one. There we go.
Hi, Mom.
What do you think? How does that feel, Jim?
Heavy.
Yes. Do you want to lift that up? Just pick that up. You don't have to put this. I won't make you pick that up. What do you think that is?
That's an oxygen bottle.
It is, yeah. Is it heavy?
Yes.
Okay.
What's it weigh? 30 pounds?
About 30, 35 pounds. You haven't got gloves on. This is our outfit. You've seen most of them. They're reflective. We had to do this and that, done up, strap, face mask on in 1 minute. That was part of the test. I think you failed.
Very good.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, just.
And the pants would have fit.
Yeah, I tried this on yesterday. I found the same problem, by the way. I don't know how these things shrink.
You can pick that up, Chris.
Wait till I tell my wife I had to undress you. Yep.
What is the total weight of all those?
About 125 pounds. When you have everything on.
Wow.
That, because you're talking not only the boots and the coat, the helmet, and the breathing apparatus. The SCBA is what we call it. But you're talking. Thank you, Jim. But you're also talking tools and equipment. So you typically would be, you get off the truck and we have pre-connected hoses, and you grab a hose over your shoulder, you've got some kind of tool, and you're running. And that's just if you're going to a house fire that's on the ground. If you're going into an apartment building, we have what we call apartment packs, because we take our own hose into apartments. You've seen the little cabinets in apartment buildings. The hose is there. It's great. We don't use it. I mean, it's tested. It's supposed to be tested. It's checked monthly by your fire safety company. But it's usually only single layer. And we take in what we call double layer with lined. And if you're going up, you don't use the elevator either, you're always using the stairs. So it's just a lot of work, and you got to be fit. It is a young person's job. Retirement age is mandatory at 60. So I retired. I've been retired 11 years now, to give you how old I am. But yeah, it is definitely a young person's job. We always take pictures of our saves. Not quite our saves, but anyways, just a couple of pictures of where we had fires. The one over here with me in it, that's a church that was in Brampton that we didn't save very good. But I was running the aerial ladder at the time. And my crew, there you can see the church in the background. Guelph fire and Brampton fire, very similar. They do pretty much the same things. I was just going to give you a little detail because I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted to hear today, so I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of my own, a little bit of information on departments. Guelph fire population here is around 177. They have 6 stations, 7 pumpers, 2 aerials, 1 tanker, 1 hazmat, and a command post. The command post goes out when there's a major incident, and that's where the chiefs congregate and plan attack and rehab for crews that are getting exhausted and so on, along with many department cars, vans, and pickups. Brampton Fire is just under 800,000. They have 14 stations now, along with maintenance division. Maintenance division is quite big. It used to be a 1 bay, and now they have a station that is 12 bays big, and they can put an aerial ladder up inside the building and extend it its whole length, so either 80 feet or 100 feet, depending on the aerial. 10 pumpers, 5 squads, 5 aerials, technical rescue, hazmat, marine, air light support, rehab truck. A rehab truck is where the guys can go, because you can imagine you're at a fire for a few hours. Once you run out of oxygen, you need to go and get new bottles, so they would do that. You go get a drink of water and someplace to rest for a few minutes.
Chris, what is air light support?
Air light support is just basically what it says. It's a truck that has the compressor to refill these bottles. It's a truck that has light equipment. It's just a sort of a support for the whole crew that's there. As you can imagine, these bottles, this is a 30-minute bottle. Now this is an old bottle. Jim asked me where I got it. You don't bother asking me. So that bottle, once you put it on, would probably last me 15 minutes. The bottles they have now are called 1-hour bottles. They're a little bit lighter, about the same size roughly, and they're probably going to last, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. A typical fire truck, average fire truck can pump from 1,000 to 1,800 gallons per minute. It's pretty good. They hold on board 400 to 1,000 gallons of water that they carry with them. So you can imagine the truck arrives at a fire scene, they can instantly have water to the fire right away. In the meantime, there's another crew that's going to hitch up the closest hydrant to that truck. So you can tell by how many gallons that truck's putting out. Now, may not be putting out 1,000 at the time with one line. They may only be putting out 80 or so. But that fire truck is going to run out of that water very quickly. Some of them carry whiting agents that help put out the fire. Along with this, they also carry 700 feet of, I say 38 millimeter here, it's 1.5, 1.5 inch. 950 feet of 65 millimeter, 300 of 100 millimeter. 100 millimeter is the hydrant hose that they use to hitch up. Along with tools, generators, saws, extra SCBA, lights, for lots of first aid equipment. All the trucks now, in probably most of the departments, if you get a 911 call, fire goes as well. And mostly because there's more fire stations than there is ambulance stations. In most cases, a fire truck will be at the scene prior to the ambulance. They'll go in, and the guys are almost paramedics now. When I was back on, we couldn't give needles or anything like that, but we were training defib and CPR and stuff like that. See where I am? Keep losing track. Sorry. Only a firefighter would look this rusty old fire hydrant and say that would look good on my patio. How many want that on their patio? I do. I have 2 of them. Honor Guard. I am very, very proud to be part of the Honor Guard. I say that because I don't regularly attend. I don't have the Honor Guard uniform, but anytime I feel the need to go, I'm welcome. Like Tuesday, Brampton had their Remembrance Day service, and I went and attended and marched with the Honor Guard. The Honor Guard's main function is to be there for firefighters that have died in the line of service or of some health-related injury or other. That is our main purpose. I was 18 years on the Guard. 15 of them, I was one of the main coordinators that helped. I was also instrumental in helping with the Line of Duty Death Committee. Line of Duty Death Committee, as you can imagine, if we have a fire and we have a firefighter goes down and dies on a scene, there is so much to go on. I mean, number one, it's the death, but there's also the morning afterwards. So you've got to plan memorials and funerals, and you have to help the family get through this. And we do that with precision. We do that with honor, because we are there to honor that family and that person that has died. In Brampton, that was the group that I was with when I was on. We just got new uniforms in, and that was at a mayor's gala. Because not only do we do funerals, but we go to memorials. We'll go to anywhere in Canada that a firefighter dies in line of duty. I do mean anywhere in Canada, and some of the states. Yellowknife, there was 2 firefighters that died there a few years ago, and we went up and honored and helped with not only the funeral service for one of them, but for the memorial for the 2 of them. Calgary Honor Guard was also there, and we assisted them in the 2 events. Colorado Springs is the one on the left. The International Association of Firefighters, they have a memorial down there, and once a year they honor every firefighter that's died in the line of duty in North America. And we were there to honor one of ours, and that's the parade. For Remembrance Day, that's us marching for our Remembrance Day service. Ottawa, Canadian Foundation of Firefighters has a memorial in Ottawa, first weekend after Labor Day. They all attend in Ottawa, and it's for any firefighter across Canada that has died in line of service in the previous year. 911, New York. Of course, that was a horrible, horrible time. This is 1 year after the tragedy. We went down and marched with thousands of firefighters. And that's our crew. They had an American flag for every firefighter that died that marched down that street. We also do weddings. I was telling Ruth a little while ago about my wedding. I married Julie in 2012, and it was at Trinity United, and I had 4 guard come and attend our wedding. And I'd set up with the chief of Guelph at the time if he could arrange to send over a fire truck. I didn't tell Julie about it. So we come out, and the guard here, they're standing up on our step, and they have our pike poles, and you see them with the pyramid. And we come out, and we got onto the step, and Julie saw the truck, and she was gone. Left me there. She ran to the truck, and yeah, it was a great day. We also honor any firefighter that's retiring, regardless of rank or what they're doing. This is mine. We line up. We have the crew that's lined up there too. The honor guard attends, and we pipe the retiring member going out. This is the 2 trucks I was on most of the time. The one in the background is an aerial, an 80-foot aerial, aerial 208. And the one on this side is a first-line pumper, number 12, and it was on Mississauga Road. That's my gear, as you just see here. On my way out. Not the last time I had it on, but I mean last time for a fire. Also, we do firefighters do lots of things for the community. One of the things I was involved with is the Lung Association. We sold tulips in February, and that's us and a few of my fellow firefighters helping out to help raise funds. I mean, they do muscular dystrophy, they do cancer. Cancer is the number 1 killer of firefighters nowadays because of so much smoke and toxics and things that go through. I mean, it's so bad. You saw the gear. What we used to do, we had those petch coats. That's all we had. They never got washed. We go to a fire now, the gear is sent out. When you get back from the call, you spray it down, you bag it, it goes out, gets washed, you have a second set of gear, and you put it on because the toxics from some of the stuff now is just so bad. I have this short video. Will that play all right, or do I have to click it, David?
This is the dark side of firefighting no one talks about, and the 6 ways the job has changed me. 1. I started this career at 18. I was just a kid. This job quickly robs you of your innocence. You can't unsee the tragedies you respond to, and over time, it becomes impossible to live blissfully unaware of how fragile life really is. 2. I'm more anxious now. Constantly being alert, preparing for the worst, interrupted sleep, it all rewires your mind and body. This career conditions you to live in fight or flight, and that takes a toll you don't always notice until it catches up to you. 3. The only way out is through. We can compartmentalize the tough calls and tuck them away neatly, but those boxes don't stay closed forever. Eventually they get too full. If you don't process and integrate those experiences, they come back in other ways, mentally, emotionally, or physically. 4. It's easy to become numb. You learn to detach just enough to function because caring too much will eat you alive. But that detachment can bleed into your personal life. Other people's problems might seem small, but they're still real. Their pain doesn't become less valid just because your perspective on real problems has changed. 5. The world can seem darker. You don't get called when things are going well, and that constant exposure can distort your view of reality. You start to believe the world is mostly chaos and tragedy, but it's not. You just see one side more than most. 6. Despite it all, I'm grateful. I'll never be the same person I was before this career, and that's okay. The sounds, the images, the memories stay with you, but so does the perspective. I appreciate the small things more, I hold my loved ones a little tighter, and I carry an outlook on life that only this job could give.
Some of that is so true. You see things that other people just don't see, and you have to process them. We go back to the station and we talk about things. It's so good to have the brothers and sisters that are there. You get to talk things through. We do have a support network that we can go to if we need to. And sometimes that happens where you do need to talk to somebody. The tragedy is always there. You cannot not see it. I've had my own that I still, back here, remember. But I've dealt with it, and you move on. So that's basically my speech today. I don't know if there's any questions.
If you have a question, just put up your hand.
Oh, one over here. Oh.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I was in a situation a couple of years ago where I was in the middle of a park, a large park, and one of the members of the crowd that I was with collapsed, and I had my phone and I phoned 911. They found me because I had on my phone an app called What Three Words? Is that something you're familiar with?
No, but I have heard of where a cell phone can be tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they said, what's the address? I said, I don't know the address. I'm in the middle of a park.
Yeah.
But suddenly the fire truck comes and found me exactly. They can locate you within 10 square meters.
I mean, the communications department nowadays, they're so technically in depth. If you saw them, it'd be a marvel. I used to work in the communications, so I kind of have an idea of what it was like. They have the capability of tracking where your cell phone is. So if you call 911, yeah, they're going to call you back if you hang up, just so you know. There was a question over here.
I wondered what part women play in firefighting these days.
Women are a huge part nowadays, not just, I mean, they are the same as the guys. They go through the same training, they go through the same fitness, they are doing the same jobs as a regular male. So they are right in there. There's more, I'm not sure what the percentage is. When I was there was 4 women on the fire department. Now I'll bet you there's either 40 or 50, maybe more, on a department that's almost 300. So, I mean, they're coming. It's a tough job, so not every lady can do it, but they are there. Yes. Somebody, is there another one?
Okay, hi. Thank you again for the presentation. You mentioned paramedics. Do they travel with you? You know, we see TV and we see the fire trucks and the paramedics, they all work right closely together.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Not in Canada. You'll see that in the States. Right now, our paramedics and ambulance people are still separate. They're trying to get, some places may have it, but I know Brampton, they're trying to get them so that they're combined, even in the same building, but they're 2 separate entities and politics.
Right, so eventually they're going to try and work together and
eventually that will happen, yeah.
Okay.
Because it makes sense.
It absolutely it does.
Was it emergency 51? They had Johnny and, I'm dating myself too, what was his name? Johnny and, where they were in Squad 51 and they were the paramedics. I mean, they went out, the ambulance that came was just basically a transport.
Yes.
Right? Whereas nowadays, they are getting more ambulances around, but firefighters are almost as trained as the paramedics are.
Oh, okay. And so it would be the firefighters that would sort of call the paramedics, or
No.
just totally separate?
When your call goes to 911, it's dispatched ambulance and fire.
Okay.
So they
Gotcha.
both go, but because there's more fire trucks, the fire truck's going to be there. In most cases, will be there ahead. Now, the ambulance not going to be far behind. I mean, they're not talking, like 10 minutes or anything. You're talking minutes.
My son's a police officer, and they use drones.
Yes.
Do you use drones now? I can imagine it'd be quite an advantage in a high-rise.
Yep. Yes. Unfortunately, they didn't have it when I was there, because I would have loved to play with it. The station I was at had the command post, and it was part of my job when I was in the station to have this command post up and running and ready to go. It's basically just a big office where they have computers and things so that the chiefs have things available to them. That drone is now on, well, maybe not the command post, it's probably in the district chief's car, whereas he can have a firefighter come who's trained on it, put it up in the air and see exactly around. So yes, I'm not sure if Guelph has it. I wouldn't doubt that they didn't, and I know Brampton does for sure. There's a question over here.
Something for you to put up your hand in advance.
Any other questions? Yes.
Just curious if you've had any experience with live radioactive sources or radioisotopes?
I haven't personally, but I know there has been within different cities. I mean, the big problem right now are the car batteries, the electric cars, right? That's a huge problem right now because you can't put the water on them. Interesting fact, Brampton has 4 trucks, fire trucks, that are fully electric. They were the first in Canada to have the first frontline pumper electric. Now, mind you, 4 of them are or 3 of them are in maintenance, not working. I don't know why. Somebody else? Snuck up on you.
I was wondering if there's any difference between firefighters in cities and firefighters that are deployed for forest fires.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's probably 15, 18 years ago, I went to, I don't know if you remember this, there's a movie about it, 19 hot shots. The guys that do rural fire, like bush fires are called hot shots, mostly in the States. And that's a whole different firefighting. I couldn't do that job. Those guys worked their butts off. I mean, firefighters in town work hard. A fire may last a few hours. You go to a bush fire, you just think of it. How long is a bush fire going? Sometimes days, sometimes weeks. Those guys they're animals. But we went to, there was 19 of them that died in Arizona. And we went to a funeral for them. Tragic. I mean, the fire flashed so quick that they didn't have a chance to put their blanket over top to save them. So yes, it is harder. Did that answer your question? Sorry. I get talking, I lose where I am.
If anyone else has a question, please put up your hand.
And thank you for allowing me to come today. I hope I didn't mumble too much and I got through this.
This is the dark side of fire.
I salute you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for coming. We all see firefighters out and about in the community, but I think to hear about the training that they have to go through, the equipment they have to wear, and how the fire trucks are staffed and prepared for any emergency, I think we've all learned a little bit more about our firefighters, and we thank you so much for coming and for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If after your meeting's over, if anybody wants to come up and try the fire equipment on and get a picture, $5 a shot. No. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'm going to just add my thanks. I have a son who's a firefighter, so just said to Chris, I'm going to worry more now when he's on duty. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank our guests, welcome our new members, and remember, fun, fellowship. It's what we're here for. Have a good month, and I'll see you next year at the Christmas gathering. Thank you.
It's fun, friendship, and the chance to volunteer.